we got another special guest. I'm going to let Miss Patty Peters introduce this fine gentleman.
Again, I would like to introduce to you our state representative, Representative G.A. Hardaway. I almost got the words mixed up because I've been running, but this young man, and I love him to death, because I called him at a whim, and he said, Patty, I would love to come. And I'm saying, do I have to go through any red tape? Or do I have to do anything to get Representative Hardaway to come here? You know, he came here before and I was at Cordova High School. And we just had a great time together. And now he's here with you. And we just want people to know Representative G.A. Hardaway.
Thank you. Now, I'm not quite sure how to follow that. Actually, when I walked in, I thought we were fixing to sing, and I was going to do a solo. Go ahead.
Come on.
Everybody's sitting in their seats, so obviously you haven't heard my solo. But I want to thank you for the opportunity. Anytime you're kind enough to invite me into your home, then it's an honor. And when you invite me into your home and the Lord's house, then it's the ultimate honor.
Yes, it is.
It's beautiful to see all the young people sitting here, and all that I try to do to motivate and inspire when I talk to my young people, whether it's in the schools or unfortunately in juvenile court. I always think about how simple it would be if we could just get the Christian experience for all of them, and they could understand that being Christian, trying to be Christ-like, is all about achieving a degree of excellence.
Yes, yes.
And if you try to get that done in your life, then you will be surprised how smooth things will be. Not just for you, but for those around you. The thing that I want to make sure that I do is to have a working relationship with your congregation and your leadership, because the district now comes over this way. It comes this far, and I'm happy that it does. And that'll give us a chance to work on some community projects. I believe that our faith community is the key to quality of life in our communities. The faith community is what pulls it together. And the government can't do it all, can't do most of it, as a matter of fact. We don't have enough money, we don't have enough people, agencies. This is a case of where we're going to have to do for ourselves. We have a president in the White House that I would like to see get another 4 years.
That's right.
And I said I'd like to see him get another 4 years. I served in the General Assembly of the great state of Tennessee, and what our job is to serve as the conduit for the resources and to make sure that we shape the public policy that comes out of D.C. so that you get the maximum benefit of what my president does.
That's right.
If your state legislature holds it up or sends it a different way or twists it so it doesn't achieve the goals, the purpose for which the original appropriation or the program was designed, you lose. So I want to caution you, don't just think about voting for your president. He's going to have a team around him in the Congress. He's got to have a team on the state level. Keep in mind, he used to be a state senator. Not just a U.S. senator, but he was a state senator. And he was a member of our not our National Black Caucus of State Legislators. And he was kind enough to come through Nashville when he was on his way to the White House. Okay? And I had the pleasure of conferring with him about what his agenda was for young people in particular, and about how the government of old will compartmentalize everything. Everybody in education presentation was talking about education. Everybody in healthcare was talking about nothing but healthcare. Public safety was all about law enforcement on the streets. When the answer is a comprehensive approach in order to be successful in any one of those areas. And you can't have good education without good health care. And children show up in school, they've got to be ready to learn physically, mentally, emotionally. You can't have good economics without having good health care. You can't get to work if you're sick. And you can't get to work and stay there if your children are sick.
That's right.
If you have a job, you're likely to have good health care coverage. You're also more likely to have a lot of the insurance companies attending to strive towards well care. So all of these things coming together. Public safety is a healthcare issue. I'm teaming up with Annisdale, with Reverend White Montgomery, making sure that we, in going forward, that we put together an anti-gang campaign that's more, not just anti, but is pro children. And I've got some legislation that is probably going to have some of the larger real estate folks a little mad at me, but I'm used to folks being mad at me when I'm looking after my people.
That's right.
So they'll just have to keep getting mad. But we've got a couple of things that I'm going to be working on with gangs. We want to make sure that when we have apartment complexes where the ownership is not furnishing the type of security that the residents need in order to feel safe and go about their business, that we'll be able to do the same thing. Think about this now. If you don't cut your grass, the city will come in and cut it and charge you for it. If you don't board up your house and got rats and roaches, they'll come in, exterminate, board it up, and they will charge you for it. Now, why do we have folks who are able to keep our people in multifamily dwellings in unsafe conditions and get away with it? I say it's wrong. So what I'm proposing, we're going to have legislation proposed that will allow law enforcement to go on the grounds and get up in that apartment complex, and they will render the type of security that's necessary that the owner won't pay for, and the taxpayers will bill the owner, the same as we did. I just can't imagine what it's like to wake up in the middle of the night hearing gunshots and wondering if one of them was on your child. It's not the way we're going to live. I'm going to make sure we don't live that way. And we're going to deal with some domestic violence issues the same way. Right now, you could be a victim of domestic violence and be stuck in wherever the apartment is or the house is because you've got a lease, you've got a contract. I'm proposing, and they fought me on it last year, I'm going to bring it up again, I need your help on it. I'm proposing if you're a victim of domestic violence and you go to court and the culprit is convicted, then he or she needs to be responsible for the rest of their lease. And you can pick up and go about your business and go somewhere safe.
All right.
Those are just a couple of things that we're going to be working on. My young people, we're going to be working on trying to make sure that lottery scholarship, which they keep telling stories about, that is sound, and we're going to try to base it more on need. Best and brightest is wonderful. I know some people wonder if it's true, but I was actually a best and brightest. Might not think so now, but I was. And I can tell you the best and brightest have access to all kinds of scholarship money. We don't need it. What we need to do is to make sure that our marginal students, those that have a financial gap, have the ability to go to school, have the ability to go to a 4-year or 2-year training institution, technology center, that our children have those dollars. And to do so, it needs to be based merely on need. If you have a school that accepts you, as long as you're in good standing, the state ought to pay the money. To get all the made-up GPAs and minimum ACT scores based on nothing. We pull them out the air. We've had testimony before committees that I sat on. I asked them, where'd you come up with these numbers? They just yanked them out there. Nobody could come up with a logical reason for having an ACT of 21 or GPA of 3.0 because they don't, and you know as well as I do, they don't necessarily translate into the true story when you're looking at children and profiling them for college, because each college has a different profile of a student that they can be successful with. If the school thinks they're going to be successful with you, you ought to be getting some scholarship dollars. So I'm going to need your support on that. Right now, and I'm going to tell you this bit is going to shock you, and then I'm going to leave you in your shock. The majority of the monies that we have going out of the lottery scholarship now are not going to people who are in need. It's going to families with six-figure incomes. And they don't want you to know that. But rich folk are now getting the scholarship dollars that were originally intended for our children. And, well, I say on paper intended for our children. And I'm going to fight to make sure that our children get those dollars. We need them. We're not going to have a successful community until we have a successfully educated force within our community. Parents, you have a job. You're the first educator. You're the main healthcare provider. You are supposed to be there for your child. I've been preaching every stop I've made today that K-12, the K is wonderful. Parents show up with the baby, excited, want to take pictures on the first day of school. But guess what? The next time, most parents take pictures at graduation.
That's right.
All that time in between, when your child is spending most of their waking hours with strangers, because most of us don't go to school and get to know the teachers. Your child is developing into a young adult. And I say to you, you need to keep your hand on that child by participating in school activities, being available to help out at school, being available to provide, to support that work that your child needs and deserves at home, so that you can have the type of productive citizen and child that we can all be proud of. Because at the end of the day, it's all our children. Yep. Thank you all. And let me make sure that I compliment you on jumping in and participating in just becoming a part of the fabric of the community. When there's a need, as we mentioned before, government can't field everything. And when we talk about education, when you have children who won't show up on the first day because they don't have supplies, don't have clothes, don't have shoes, I mean, that's a fact. And they don't show up the first day and they never catch up.
That's right. That's
So
right.
anything that you do that can provide that type of resource in the community, then you're doing a valuable service. That really, when you talk about how effective it is exponential. So I want to compliment you on just the short time that you've been here on becoming a driving force in being successful by making the community successful. So you've done a wonderful job in this short period of time. I'm looking forward to working with you while you get that bigger job done. Because I know you're capable, you're going to get it done. I'm looking forward to sitting in service. And I promise not to sing. But thank you all for being kind enough to invite me, and actually, you're even more gracious for acting like you were listening to what I said.
Let me bring up our leader of this church, this fantastic church, Pastor Howard. Come on up, Pastor. You know, Pastor Houston has been such a powerful movement in this church, and that we often always say to him, he's done a wonderful job, and he's constantly doing it every day. And I wanted him to really get to know you, because I know what you can do in helping Redemption Christian Church.
Well, I'm looking forward to the partnership, as I said before. And anytime I find a strong man of God that knows that his feet, even though one is in the church, the other's got to be outside the church house, because the real church is within you. Then that's somebody I can work with.
All right.
Okay.
Let me also bring up the person that's behind our pastor and in front. The First Lady, Mrs. Susie Christian. I just wanted you all to know, especially Representative Hardaway, that we have a church that's on the move, Representative, and we know that with your help and with you being out there in the public, you can help us get this done. Because as you know, I told you on the phone that our purpose is to lead children and people to God. And you said to me, Patty, I'm coming. Patty, I'll be there. So therefore, he will be here Sunday at service. And I just wanted you to hear a dynamic pastor, our pastor, Pastor Houston. Did anybody have any questions for Representative Hardaway or anything? All right, okay, we're talking about education, and that's what we're about too. This church is about everything that's bound up into one, that's making everybody better prepared for getting themselves in front of the Lord.
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
Amen.
All right. Well, we thank you, Representative. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you all.